Most of your behaviors are not selected by you, especially if you feel out of sync for a long time. Most likely, you are simply reacting to the environmental clues that your brain is subconsciously picking up. There are subconscious drivers that lead you towards misalignment between what you want to achieve and who you want to be and who you have to be to survive. They are not in alignment. And by you not being aware and conscious about these shifts, you are falling for the easy one, which is to survive, which is what your brain unconsciously is going to be driving you towards. But by becoming aware, the solution becomes present, which is to be in alignment and to truly understand how the environmental shifts are playing against you. People often feel confused, frustrated, and just out of flow. They don't know why. It happens throughout the year. It turns on and off. You find your rhythm, a few months later, you're out. Depending on your level of awareness and willpower, you might be off for months, or it might just be a week, but then you need another week to recover. And I understand that from first place because I was there. I have been there. And the reason why is because we fail to recognize that the environment will have a dramatic effect in how we perform. Being on the flow is a combination of being off and on, essentially periods of rest and periods of focus. Essentially, stress and rest. It's a combination of getting to a peak focus, which essentially means getting to a ideal level of stress to stay there and then come down and rest. Now we can rest our mind in different ways by combining exercise throughout our day, movement, by combining rest from either eating, which puts our system into a rest metabolic phase, or a wellness routine. Perhaps it's meditation, perhaps it's a nap. You can combine these behaviors and add periods of attention and focus and productivity with a mild rest to pick back up again 2 hours into a task. Then you perhaps take a break and exercise. Then you go back up for another round. You create and produce, and then you eat. And when you find this flow, you're essentially aligned with your biology, which means that you're able to achieve more with less effort. The confusion starts when you find that. You have felt that. Perhaps it has been chronic. A signal that this is chronic is if you have started to hate a particular season. It's because you haven't really changed your routine from season to season and you haven't found a way to align with that season that you now have gotten to hate. There might not even be a recognition of this, and that's where confusion and frustration come from. You don't know what's going on. I'm here to tell you that the solution is by creating routines that are in alignment with the environment. The way that we can achieve that is by first understanding who we are genetically. Who are we at our core from a genetical perspective? Where are we right now and where we want to go? That's number one. Number two is understanding how the environment influences our hormones. By environment, I refer to everything: the lighting, the temperature, social dynamics. The reason why is because we want to create behaviors that match that environment, that align with that environment, that follow that flow, that energy, that time throughout the day. To align that lifestyle with the environment means that we are the best version of ourselves. We achieve more with less effort. We are in alignment with our natural rhythms. An example of this will be the way that we adjust our sleep throughout the year. It will be a lot earlier in the winter and it will be a lot later in the summer. Now, it will still be consistent for the amount of time you sleep and the sunset. The signals that we know are being absorbed are the lighting, and that will trigger melatonin production and it will stop the production of cortisol. That's what happens when you have good habits promoting that behavior that allows you to sleep effectively and have quality of sleep, which when you wake up next morning, you're fresh and you're ready and willing to produce your best and most efficient work. Then the same thing happens with exercise. If we are adjusting or sleeping, then we should also look into our exercise. It doesn't mean that we don't exercise during certain seasons or we exercise too much during others. It's finding the right balance. Why? Because we can look at our year and realize that perhaps working indoors is the most convenient thing to do in the wintertime. It's actually the one way that we can work out. That's just an example. Going and signing up for a gym will motivate you to work in the winter. But then perhaps you can just cancel your membership and move to outdoor exercises in the late spring and the summer, and you can go for runs. So what you can do is look at your year and program your exercise based on the season, based on what is the most convenient and what is the most beneficial for what you're trying to achieve. Mine is very clear. I play baseball in the summer, I implement basketball in the winter, I lift in the fall and winter, I move into speed and agility in the springtime, then I go into maintenance phase in the summer, and then I phase out and continue that cycle. That's what professional athletes do. That's just a debrief. You can get into a little more detail or you can get a little less detail about it and put goals for you. I just want to walk during this time of the year. I want to start lifting during this time of the year. Here is where I work out this time of the year. This is the time that I will be working out this time of the year. Even perhaps the frequency. I'm so busy during the summer that I work out 3 times a week, but in the winter I have more time and I work out every single day of the week. You see, understanding the environment influence on every single behavior allow us to adjust. Now, knowing who you are, knowing what works well for you, gives you that edge of not having to go for trends. There is many trends on the internet about this biohack works great, this routine works great. The reality is that don't follow them, follow what works good for you. So if you want to know more about this and how to implement what I just said, that's what I have created my program for. And I have a framework that you can plug yourself into to become an expert in who you are, to get data you have never gathered before at an affordable rate. We get an actual picture of who you are. And then you can use the expertise that we have with the environment so that you can create a seasonal routine. When you do that and you learn how to do that, you're already on your way to master the environment to produce the best version of yourself. That's what I created my framework for. So my invitation to you is to look at the description and plug yourself into any of the many ways that we have for you to just continue your seasonal journey. And of course, like and subscribe. We keep putting content about this. And if you like this one, you're going to like my other videos. So I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.